This is Tirana's AcreForward, the ag industry's most thought-provoking podcast. Listen to interesting people as we go in-depth into the issues affecting crop advisors, growers, and farm communities, uncovering the truth about the ag business and using technology to prepare for the unforeseeable. Ready to explore the future? Let's dig in.
Welcome to the AcreForward Podcast. I'm Laura Hankey and a member of the aggregate marketing team. And today I have the great honor of being the host for this conversation around Veterans Day. I'm joined by Jeanette Lombardo, Executive Director of the Farmer Veteran Coalition and fellow agriculturalist. Jeanette, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start, Jeanette, with kind of a 50,000-foot view of Farmer Veterans Coalition. I know that your team does so much nationwide. Give us a little bit of an overview of Farmer Veteran Coalition.
Sure. So the Farmer Veteran Coalition began in 2009. So this is our 15th anniversary. And it started in Davis, California. Recently, we have moved to Waco, Texas. So we moved here in the summer of 22. So a couple years under our belt here in Texas. We've taken the country and divided it into 10 regions. And those regions match the USDA production map. And we've started to build chapters out within each of those regions. Our main focus and mission is to help service members who are exiting the military find a new purpose, hopefully through either a career in the agricultural sector or helping them start their own farm or ranch. And so that's what we do through a variety of programs that we have to help basically with capital access, market access, and land access.
Well, we were talking a little bit here before we pushed record. Why is agriculture such a great fit for transitioning veterans?
Well, I think the hurdles that we face in getting a successful crop to market, right, is really well fit for the veterans because they're used to when things don't work out, finding a workaround, right? And they have that grit and tenacity that you need just to push through and work through long days. You know, when it's time for harvest, it's time for harvest. There's no, putting it off till tomorrow. And, just really overcoming all of that. And also, I think agriculture offers, it's a great purpose to, feed the people. To us, it's a matter of national security to be able to feed your own people. And we all eat a lot every, day, 3 times a day, day after day. So that's all very important. But also it helps them find a purpose that I believe is equal to their military service. It's just they're serving the American people in a different way. So it's just something to be very proud of. And I feel that, working the land and working with the animals provides them serenity, peace, that they're looking for, and some healing as well. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Do you find that most of your members come to Farmer Veteran Coalition with some sort of an ag background, or do you see just as many with no ag background as the ones who did come from a farm?
We have it all. So we have some where people grew up on farms and maybe their farm wasn't large enough to support another family. So, dad kicked them out of the nest and they chose to go in the military, and now they're done and they want to go back and either, maybe the parents retiring and they could take over the farm, or they want to establish their own farm next to their dad and share resources. So we have a little bit about that. We have a lot that didn't grow up on farms, really like the idea, have great business ideas and niche ideas, especially with the value added side of the business. And they are just eager to learn anything and everything. And they're very competitive and they want to grow their business year over year. And then we have some that are like 100% disabled. And they find purpose in growing. They love, it gives them hope to see things grow. And they can even be urban farmers growing in their backyard and donating their proceeds to food banks that serve military communities, which have a high food insecurity rate. So we see it all. With 52,000 members now, we do literally see so many different crops grown in so many different ways. We have everything from fish farms and hydroponics, aquaponics, glass houses, regenerative, organic, conventional, you name it. We embrace it all because we need all of it. There's room for it at the table, for every bit of it, every size of farm and every growing method.
Yeah. Yeah. You talked a little bit about folks wanting to come back to the farm who may have grown up on the farm, but there wasn't enough of a financial or revenue stream there for them to remain there. What kind of resources does Farmer Veteran Coalition provide to help transitioning vets overcome some of those financial and resource hurdles getting into agriculture, because the barriers are huge?
Yeah. So literally, when I say we do everything, we do everything. We start with their resume, right, and convert it into things that would work in the normal world. So if an HR person looked at it, they could sort of figure out what they did in military jargon, right? And then we help with business plans. We help with crop plans. In some cases, when there's no experience, to get capital to do an FSA loan through the USDA, you have to have 3 years of experience. Well, their military service counts as 1 year. But then we have an Ag Vets grant where we provide training on 5 or 6 different training programs across the country that we pay for them to get that second year of experience through going through the training program. And then the third year is really either mentorships, internships, or apprenticeships. So we connect new farmers with seasoned farmers so they can get that on-hands experience that is going to help make them successful. So when they go to get that loan, they have enough knowledge that they can repay that loan, because we're all taxpayers and that's our money, right? And they can grow their business and become successful and eventually have their whole income come from the farm.
Mm-hmm. So the hands-on experience, this peer-to-peer education, if you will, are these veterans themselves, or are these farmers who are just eager to help with that transition? Tell us more about that.
It can be both, actually. So one of the nice things about the chapters, there's a couple nice things that we've noticed. One is the camaraderie that they miss from the service, they find at the state chapter levels. And then you'll find somebody who's been a member who has land, for example, and they may share their land until the new farmer finds his own land. They may let him put a few cows on it, or they'll share equipment to help each other with planting and harvesting. So that is one of the best things that we see. Also with the natural disasters we've faced in the last 6 months, and most of along the southeast part of the country, the states have come together and really lifted, the brothers or sisters out of the situations they're in. When resources were thin, they really just stepped in and helped out. So I'm very proud of them, for that. But, the capital side is just one side, but we help also with marketing access. So we have a fellowship fund, which will open here in January 1st, and applications are taken from our website through Valentine's Day. That's our deadline because we love our veterans. And then we do awards in the beginning of May, and we give out between $350,000 to $500,000, so $500,000 every year in grants, so they can purchase things that they need to help start their business. So we buy a lot of fencing, we buy animals, we buy chutes for cattle. You name it. We've seen it. Commercial kitchenware to start, value added, we've seen it over the years. And then we also have a partnership with, we have our own label. It's called Homegrown by Heroes. That it's a label that goes on their product, and it allows them to stand out at whether it's at their, a market, a stand at the end of their driveway, or it's a CSA, or it's a farmer's market. It allows them to stand out, and people who want to support veterans know they've been certified and that they are indeed veterans, and they'll purchase from them sometimes over someone else. We also have an Market Maker, which is our online sales platform to sell directly to consumers. So it's all that is offered free. Our membership is free to the veteran, and they can go in and build their profile and do a cart there and shows what they're selling and drive people to that site. And we've seen farms, actually this really came about during the pandemic, when some of our grocery stores didn't have much inventory, and people started to panic a little. We saw that they quickly realized there was farmers at the end of their town, and they could buy from them directly. And that's what happened. And we thought after the pandemic, it might go back to the way it was, but it hasn't. We've seen a big increase in sales directly to consumers from local farmers. And we know that people like to know how their farm is grown, where their food is grown by the farm, and know their farmers. And so I think it's going to still go on an upward trajectory through a couple of years to come still. I mean, it's a lot of people want to support their local farmers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys just wrapped up your National Farmer Veteran Coalition Stakeholder Conference. I think I said that correctly.
Yeah.
Taranis had the opportunity to present both at the opening session as well as a breakout session. And John Carroll, our Director of Operations, he just raved about Farmer Veteran Coalition and, the program and the vets that he had the opportunity to meet. Tell us a little bit about the experiences that veterans were introduced to. I know Ken was telling me about a mushroom farm that you guys visited during the tour portion.
Yeah. So we always have a couple of farms that we tour on the first day, and we have a networking reception. And this year we did a screening of a movie that dealt a lot with regenerative agriculture. So we would like to, I think we dealt a lot with urban ag on this farm tour, and was very well received by the attendants. The actual conference started on Monday, and we had, we always start with ceremony because that is our culture. And we want to have that. So it's a great way to start with the military opening that we do for the opening ceremonies. It always amazes me how many people this is their first conference. And they're from all over the country, and we even had someone from Hawaii and some from the territories there, and they don't know each other. And by the end of the conference, they're in the bar watching football and planning family vacations together. And what they needed more, we had all this great training, all these breakout sessions on so many different topics. Because we're there to teach them. This is our technical advice that we give. We bring in some great speakers, and they're exposed to a lot of different things, and they are very excited. The surveys are coming in now, and it's just it's worth all the work we put in it all year long. But I just think, to me, the most important is to have someone who feels like they're totally alone, that no one else is going through what they're going through, or what they're going through is harder than what everyone else is going through with their transition, to sit down and have everybody say, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. And to find that those new relationships that will last, some of them a lifetime. And we love being part of their story and have them come back year after year. And we have a successful farming panel, and they tell their stories of how they started dazed, lost, and confused, and they've grown their operations. Some of them, we had 3 this year that one was going internationally. So it's just like, I think the veterans starting out need to hear that. They need to understand that this is not, it's difficult, but it's not impossible, and that there's a lot of support out there for them. So, yeah, no, I always leave with a ton of ideas for the next conference and a lot of suggestions from everyone. And we try to build the capacity so that we can continue to give the veterans what they need and want.
Sure. There are so many synergies between what you guys are doing in agriculture. It truly is a perfect fit. When I think about why I work in agriculture, it's because of the support and because of the camaraderie. And, we're a small, tight-knit group, and there's no 6 degrees of separation. And you're talking about the exact same thing. So, I can see how it's such a great fit for, folks, no matter which side of the farm they come from, whether it's the urban side or, they grew up with their hands in the soil. So, Jeanette, tell us a little bit about how Farmer Veteran Coalition is funded. Do you guys work exclusively through sponsorships, or do you have some grant dollars? Tell me about that.
So right now we're about a $2.7 million operation, and we have just 10 employees to help 52,000 people. So we run lean, very lean. But we have, we're pretty diversified. We have the fellowship is sponsored by a lot of foundations and corporations, the Fellowship Fund. Our operation also, we have grants. I would say we're pretty heavily grant funded, probably half grant funded. And then donations, individual donations, family foundations, corporations. So it runs the whole gambit. But I think, and we have some members that just have been giving since day one. We've started a memorial wall on our website, and a lot of people in lieu of flowers will send donations to have their farmer on the website with their rank and their service information. So, we couldn't do it without them. This has been a tough year. I'm not going to lie. With inflation, there's no disposable income for people to donate. So we're very grateful that we have the support of our mission that we have from and I do see a lot of playing it forward with our veterans. Some of the veterans that have won fellowship funds in the past, or even the Homegrown by Heroes guys, they'll give a percentage of their sales to FVC to help the veterans that are leaving service now. And so we so appreciate it because, as a nonprofit, we don't have money to advertise. What's been great is with our state chapters doing the work they're doing at the local level, they get a lot of press releases and they're picked up. And that's how we get the word out, and that's how we increase the membership, and we're able to help more and more veterans. But it has been totally organic and word of mouth growth, and we're adding about 100 members a week. And it shows no sign of stopping anytime soon. But yeah, it's
well, you're going to have to grow your team. It sounds like.
Yeah.
You guys are wearing a lot of hats.
We definitely have a lot of departments that we need and want to build out, but it all takes time and money, and we'll get there. But you have to be very strategic with how we do that.
Well, what a rewarding opportunity for you and your staff to be able to give back. And are you a veteran yourself, Jeanette? How did you come to lead Farmer Veteran Coalition?
So I am not a veteran. I was born in Germany. My father was in the Air Force. So my grandfather, about 26 different cousins were all in this service in Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, in that area. So I grew up on a dairy and potato farm, and, just really was involved in the agricultural sector my whole entire life. I used to be the state president for California Women for Ag. I was national president for American Agri-Women. I've worked a lot on agricultural issues around water and labor, crop protection tools, trade. I've had 3 federal appointments. I currently just got appointed to the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Advisory Board. There's 20 of us across the country that work on that. So, I just actually had my own company. It was called California Food and Agribusiness Advocates, and I was minding my own business. And I got a call. I got a call from a recruiter, and it was during COVID. And I was like, well, why not? But there was 300 applicants for the job. That tells you how many people really want to help veterans. And so work through the process, and I started during COVID. So there you go. And our founder, Michael, Michael O'Gorman, he was not a veteran either himself, but he worked in organics in both Mexico and the United States. And he's just an incredible, person in that space. And so, and just a big heart for helping veterans.
And what a resource for you to sit on the board for the Beginning Farmer and Rancher for USDA. Sometimes those applications, one of the things you hear is that they're so daunting. And I know that USDA has done a lot of work to try to, put those online and streamline the process, but it is pretty intimidating for somebody just coming into agriculture. Talk a little bit about how the Beginning Farmer and Rancher program has helped your veterans.
So first of all, we have a call center. It's an 800 number for people to call. And then we also have a language line, and multiple language, sign language and everything. So that helps. I will tell you the one thing about farmers in general is they don't keep good records as far as receipts or anything. So right now what we're dealing with is a lot of disaster relief and assistance, technical advice. So helping them get through the application process. Because a lot of times I think, you just think about it like a mortgage loan. You get to a point and you're like, and you throw your hands up and walk away.
What more can I give you? Yes.
Yeah, but we can't allow them to do that. So we help them through the process and help them, get the loans and get where they need to go, and work on grants for whatever they need, and work on a lot of natural resource conservation district, conservation practices and everything. So it's really hands on hand, one at a time, sort of custom technical advice, helping them through the processes. And we have quite a few farmers that have built their farms from scratch, and they sort of have a formula of, how to leverage their VA benefits and their USDA, opportunities that are available to start to grow their farm and get it to where they want it to be.
Very good. Well, so much. My gosh, you guys are doing so much, and you serve such an important role in helping veterans transition. And agriculture is, and I know that you have a heart for agriculture as well. It's such a special place to be. And what better place for our veterans to transition into than agriculture? I mean, it's just, it warms my heart. I sit on the state board for Kansas, and it's such a great opportunity to, see these guys and gals, transitioning out of the military and really finding their passion and finding their calling, because so many of them were so young when they went into the service. And then, when they exit, it's almost like an opportunity for them to do that exploration, whether it's on the college side or the career side. And what you guys are doing is really taking a lot of the risk out of that, if you will. And maybe that's not the right way to phrase it, because there's still certainly a lot of risk involved, but it gives them the opportunity to have the resources, have the network, have someone to reach out to and call if they need to do so. So just incredible work.
Yeah, just the mentorship piece. I mean, think about it. If you cannot make a mistake because somebody else made it and they could teach it to you, right? You could get further along faster, really. And that's really sort of the key to the magic, right? Is everybody, veterans love to help veterans, and they really lift each other up. And so that, And then, but then they could be a little competitive too. So then it turns into, growing faster and bigger markets and this
Sure.
and that. And it's really inspirational to see when, when they start having fun again and enjoying what they're doing.
Really an incredible story and an incredible mission. 100 members a week. Are you guys going to hit all 50 states? Is that a goal to hit all 50 states?
So we already have members in every state and territory.
Okay.
The organization of the chapters has to occur organically within the state. So the chapters have to come together. Some of the bigger states, it's harder. Texas, one of the reasons we moved to Texas from California is because one, we needed to be in the central time zone, because before it's like by the time we got in the office, the day was half
Right.
over for the East Coast. And we had a lot of members in Texas, but Texas and California have been hard. We had to break it down into regions and have representation from the regions on the board, so, but I think, eventually we will, because as members come forward, it takes about 7 or 10 members to do all the paperwork to organize the state chapters. But some of the projects we're seeing out of the state chapters are just amazing, as far as, training programs, just resource fairs available, community projects, doing community gardens. It's just the imagination's like the limit, right? They could just, whatever they can dream, they could do, and they're just having fun at it. And we have some groups like the beekeepers are just so much fun what they do. So they've really helped a lot of folks that have PTSD, whether it's from military service or it's from natural disasters, whether it be fire, tornadoes, or hurricanes. There's a lot to be said about that. And we're just beginning to understand the science, behind the vibration of the bees and what they do for healing. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We learn something new every day, don't we?
In this industry, yes, you can't help, but, and that's what I like. I'm a lifelong learner, and I think this will take me to retirement easily.
Good to hear. Well, as we look at wrapping up here today, Jeanette, any final thoughts, or what would you like to leave listeners with?
Well, I think Veterans Day is coming up, and I think, everyone just needs to reach out to the veterans, I think, and just, I think, be appreciative of what they've done for our country, and, help them in any way that you can find locally in your communities, so that they can be successful, especially if you're in the agricultural sector. There's so much hope that comes from that. And that would be the one thing that I would encourage everyone to do as we take a moment and a day to reflect on our country and what it is, and how they got us here to still be free after all these years.
Well, with that, how can folks learn more about the mentorship program? So if we have farmers listening who would like to be a mentor to a transitioning vet, how do they get affiliated with Farmer Veteran Coalition?
So just go to our website, farmvetco.com, and just check it out. There, you can call there's an email address there for support at farmvetco.org, and you can, or call the call center. It's 1-888 FVC Farm, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you have or connect you with resources in your state.
Sounds great. All right. Well, thanks again, Jeanette, so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. It's always great to learn more about great programs like this, and have a great week.
You too. Thank you.